In this video, I will show you how to put together the envelope style gift box, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. Here's a little box that I already made. So this is, I called it envelope style because it kind of looks like an envelope on the front. I wasn't quite sure. I don't want to call it envelope box because people would think it's a box to hold envelopes, but it's not. Just a little gift box with little flaps. Really easy. This is a birthday version I made with my little version of my flowers. I'm not the best flower person, but that's my little flower that I put on top. So these are the panels, and these are the pieces to the actual flower that goes on top. So let's go ahead and just do the flower real quick. So I'm going to show you, I'm not the, like I said, it's not, if you want to get, there's a whole lot of YouTube videos on that are really good that others put out. I'm just going to ink the edges of these little things right here. So I do some simple ones, and I'm learning as I go on more techniques because, you know, I think we all can continually learn. So I am going to do a little bit. So these, there's three different sizes. So we're just going to go ahead and do a little curling of the little petals. And I know it doesn't look like a flower probably that you recognize, but it's my own unique flower. We're going to use that in a minute. So I'm using this stylus tool. So it's a double-sided stylus that I've gotten years ago. I'm just using one side to, if you have something thin like this, it doesn't have to be a stylus. It could be, can't think of the piercing tool like this. That's my top because I lost the top to it. So you could do that. Just be careful if you're using that because, of course, they're sharp. So I'm just curling the petals. I'm going to do that for all three flowers. So it's a real simple thing. As I said, one's smaller than the other. This is a medium size. I guess I don't need to care when I'm curling. So I'm just kind of rubbing around the edges like that. Again, there's a lot more tutorials out there that have a lot of techniques on flower making. So I'm only employing a couple that I feel comfortable with because I'm not the flower gal. I love real flowers though. I have to say, I do miss, I'm in Arizona, I used to have a rose garden. So that was my favorite flower. So for my flower lovers out there, what's your favorite? Tell me below in the comments. I'd love to hear. I had about, I don't know, 50 or 60 rose variations in a rose garden, and probably more than that. I had them in the front and backyard. I had my biggest one in the backyard. And that was when I lived in California. So now that we have these curled, I'm going to use this little sculpting tool. I gotta find it here. They're really inexpensive to get on Amazon. I can't give you the link of where I got mine because they no longer sell it, but there's a bunch of them. So just look for like clay sculptor or flower sculpting, or they come in different sizes. So mine was like this. So I'm going to use this size. And all I'm going to do is round the bottom of them. So I'm going to use the bigger side for the bigger flower. So all I'm going to do, this is like you can see I've stuck a whole lot of things in there. I used this little foam, it's a thick foam thing. And I used to stick pins in it. You could use a mouse pad too if you have one of those. I just find foam. I have craft foam that works too. You see how it kind of curls it up in the middle? So it's just curling it up. This is the small one, so I'm going to flip it around. And then I think I'll use the big one on this. And we're going to do this for the middle of the flower too. So let me flip over the edges of that middle flower first. So You don't have to do that. I was trying to give it a little dimension. I don't have double-sided paper for this, so it's white on the back. So let me use my chalk ink, get a little color on the edges so it's not as stark white. Okay, so now we have that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that small one. I'm just kind of curling it a little bit. So you can work it around. These were, I think when I bought these were less than like $6 or something from Amazon. I know some people internationally aren't able to get things like this. So, but in the US, so there's a ton on, I just checked, there's a ton on Amazon. I just don't want to recommend one because, you know, people manufacture and then they stop making them, which is the case when I got mine. And you can get whole tools too. You get like whole sculpting tools and they come with this set too. I just found those and I thought, oh wow, all in one. If you're just getting started, but I pick up my tools as I've gone. So I'm going to put a little glue in the middle of the large one. I'm going to pop that second one. I'm going to offset it so the petals are between the other petals. You can see that like that. Then the same thing, we're going to offset this one inside that medium size to make my little special flower that I decided to make for this. Then we just finish it off. So it can sit on the side and dry completely. So there it is. Well, not bad for amateur, I would think. So now it's a super simple box. So we just want to go ahead and put the panels on. So you want to go like this. So one thing I just wanted to tell you to be careful of, if you don't, this is a box that's good for random patterns. So this one was up and down and I didn't notice it. So you'll see these are kind of upside down, but nobody would notice normally. But when you cut them, you want to, if you have a pattern that's like vertical that goes a specific way, you're going to want to make sure you look at your panels and rotate them and everything else so they cut the way you want. So you see that one's upside down, but that one's, they're both upside down. So I wasn't even paying attention. So just a little, that's with any project with panels. Make sure you understand how it's going to go on the box if you can, and then make adjustments. So these just center. So this is just a good overall box for any time. You can see, just change the paper up, and then it can be for any occasion. I'm kind of making this spring, since while I'm doing this video, spring is sprung. So when you're doing this, make sure the one with the hole goes on the correct side. And if you are wondering, I do use what glue I use, because a lot of people ask that question. There's a link below, but it's Art Glitter Glue. I've used a lot of glues, and right now that's where I'm settled on. So you want to make sure that that's kind of centered around that. So there should be just a little outline of yellow, you can see right here. And I use American Crafts textured cardstock on majority. I do use a couple different papers. This is American Crafts. Some other paper I like, it just depends on what I'm doing. I do like some Michael's Recollections, and from Michael's, I think that's where I get it. I'm not near one, so I don't get it as much anymore, but just for lightweight projects, that's good. So we're just going to go ahead, and you can see this kind of, if I'm going to go like this, I'm just situating it to see how I want it. Make sure this is good and folded too. I already pre-folded it, but so when we put it together, you want to make sure it's nice and folded. But it's going to go like this. So that's why I chose this random kind of butterfly pattern. So we have the little, 2 little pieces and 2 big pieces. So we'll do the big sides. I have used Cricut cardstock. I do use it on occasion. It's a little bit different, but it's not a horrible cardstock, especially for the price. If you're on a lower budget, they do have a lot of sales. You can take advantage of some sales. I don't have a link for you. I'm not a Cricut affiliate or anything. I just kind of sharing what I know. And I do know some people like close to my heart and Stampin' Up papers, cardstocks. I tend not to get them. I kind of, all my crafting career, I've been on a budget. And that was usually not something that I would spend my money on, but it's good quality. I've used it. I'm just talking while I'm putting these panels on. So everything's easier. The panels are easier just to put them on when it's flat. But it is a super easy box once we get those tabs glued. So we've got this last panel. So those tabs that you see, so just make sure you fold everything really well before you put it together. So I'm just going to make sure. I did this a little bit different than I do most of my boxes. I kind of put the tabs around. I'm not sure if I like this method, but I am trying it. So you just kind of add glue, and then you're going to glue it on the inside, and you're going to match up this edge. So I got to get my hand in the right place. Sorry about that. Match up that edge to the tab fold. And once you get it in place, just flip it over and apply pressure on the table. So we're going to go around and glue the rest of them that way too. So just make sure they're folded inward when you're going around. We'll do the second one. So you want to hold them long enough so they stay together. So take your time. I'm just trying to get at the angle for the camera. And I kind of pull it up at the same time, so it doesn't buckle down there in that corner. So once I get it set, I just flip it over and apply pressure. So I'll glue these last 2, and then we'll finish up. So here it is. All the tabs are glued on the inside. So it's just simple. The way it closes like this. And then you can just close it like that. So simple closure. And we can go ahead and add the little, you don't have to use it. You could use your own embellishment, but I'm just going to put it right there. I'm going to use this glue dots. And normally I would use like they have sheets of them that are easier. But since I have them in a dispenser, I'm just going to I just roll it until I see the glue dot. Then just pop it on. It doesn't roll very well to that type of item. So I'm just going to go ahead and center it. Ish. There you go. And flip it up and do that. So it's just a fun little box. I set it for any occasion. So you can see that, again, we have, this is a birthday version. A little pink flower. And then we have this spring version, whether you could use it for a birthday or another gift or Easter or anything like that. So again, if you like this project, give me a thumbs up, and I thank you so much for watching.